I'm Robert Kosi. I'm the publisher of Canadian Contractor, and I'm here with Andrei Sosnowski, and he is the owner of Sosna Inc. And you are a significant renovator in the Vaughan area, or your office is in Vaughan, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, but you renovate all across the GTA, or what's your market?
Yeah, mostly Richmond Hill, North York, and Vaughan.
Now, you've been in Canada how many years? About 20 years, 25 years?
23.
23 years, okay. How did you come over, and what made you decide that you wanted to start a construction business here?
I came over here because I was invited to teach Russian martial art.
Okay.
I wasn't actually allowed to do anything else except for teaching martial art, and I did that for 1 year. And coming from
I got to ask, Russian martial arts, is that like more dangerous than normal martial arts? Or why in that in particular? Like who?
It's hard to say. It's called Sambo, and back in those days when UFC started, there was a Russian guy who became a champion of UFC, and there was a lot of interest, especially in Western countries, what it is about, this military-style Russian martial art.
Now, when you first came to Canada, I understand you landed in Sudbury?
In Timmins.
Timmins?
Timmins, Ontario.
You poor man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's the introduction to Canada, the Timmins.
Yes, yes.
So tell me, and now you're in Timmins, you're teaching Russian martial arts. That's a long way from being in Toronto and running a successful contracting business.
Yeah, so I spent 1 year there, had a few good students, but not nearly enough to support myself. So I had to do some construction work, labor work, just to have enough money for food. So that's how I started working in construction. I wasn't planning on opening up a business or anything like that. And then a year later, I moved to Toronto once again to teach the martial art, and I continued to do the construction because I guess I wasn't successful enough in martial arts to.
Just not a good enough killer.
That's right.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. But construction was better, and you began a construction company in 2000.
In 2001, a few years later, I worked for many different companies, and I really liked that. I learned lots of stuff. I worked long hours, and my story is really typical, I think. I was a one-man operation, then I opened up my own company. I was still a one-man operation. But as I would get better and better at it, I would hire my first helper, and then the second helper, and the third helper, and so on and so forth. And a time came when I realized that I either have to be putting screws in the drywall with a screw gun or using my phone, but I cannot do both anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? You gotta, I can understand
right.
that.
So
well, now your company is you're doing very well now. I understand. How many employees do you have?
15.
15 employees. Most of them, if I'm not correct, most of them are Russian.
Well, they're not Russian, but they're from post-Soviet Union countries.
Okay.
So we got Ukrainians, we got Belarus, we got Russians, we got people from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And we do have two ladies, Canadian ladies, one of them, two designers.
I came to visit your offices once, and I think there were a couple of people that didn't speak any English. Did you? And when you went to market, I mean, was that an issue? Was there a cultural barrier? Was there an ethnic or whatever kind of a language barrier, presumably, that you had to deal with? Because I don't know. Did you end up starting off by serving the Russian community here, or at least the Eastern European community here in Toronto?
No, not at all. In fact, and it's interesting even to me. It's sort of enigma. I don't know why, but over the course of 18 years of my company, I can count how many Russian-speaking clients I've had.
Yeah.
It's just a few, maybe 3, 5 over these years. We always worked with Canadians. Field workers who do the labor part, they don't typically interact with clients, and so there's no issue here. Typically, our site leaders, our project managers, our designers, they all speak English well. Sure. And I think the biggest challenge in all of this was for me. All of a sudden finding myself, instead of building walls in offices and putting up the doors, all of a sudden I'm running a business.
Right.
I'm running people, I'm dealing with clients, with vendors, with suppliers. And the most difficult part for me was to learn the mentality of Canadians. I studied English really hard, so it's still not perfect, and of course it's not.
You did pretty good. Yeah.
As to the workers, they do the job well. You know, they work with their hands, and I don't see any ever having any issues.
Now you've been at it for a while. What suits you best about the process and about being a leader in a construction company? What suits your character best?
Obviously, when you see the final product, when you finish a project, and typically our projects last half a year, from the design stage to the completion, it's at least half a year. So it's a long time, a lot of people involved, a lot of brainstorm, a lot of collaboration. And then you see the final result, and you see happy smiles on your clients' faces. I mean, that's priceless. This is awesome. You feel very good that you can impact somebody's life like that, change their lifestyle and turn their house into their home. This is priceless. That's, I would say, one thing that I like about my business. Another thing is that I look at my business not just a means to survive or to earn the living, but working with my people, with my teammates. I am very proud of all of my teammates and my team. They're wonderful people, and we try, myself and them, we try to learn every day. We try to improve. We do different things. We read books together and we brainstorm. And to me, what makes it interesting is that our business is always evolving, always transforming into something new, and I don't ever want to stop. And it's a pleasure to see how people over the years in my team, they become better professionals, they become more confident, they get a better life in Canada doing that. And it's amazing to see that me being the owner, I can impact people's lives.
You have the opportunity to actually be a part of that growth, a part of that improvement.
Yeah, and not only my clients, but my teammates, and that's amazing. I love that.
Thanks very much for coming in, Andre.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.